Hi there, welcome to the Leadership Quickiebinar series. My name is Kanan, CEO of Avance, HR tech, fintech company focused on background checks and training solutions. Today I've got Ariya from Australia. I'm going to let him introduce himself first and then we'll dive into our chit chat. Over to you,
Awesome.
Ariya.
Awesome, Kanan. Thank you and great to be here. So my name's Ariya Chittasy. I'm the director of Ingenesis Ventures. And in Ingenesis Ventures, we're a startup venture builder working with technology companies around the globe. Our group, Ingenesis is a larger group. We've worked with over 600 companies and also engaged or done due diligence on over 2,000. So yeah, we use a lot of that to grow our portfolio and work with companies to innovate and grow.
Awesome, awesome. So since you work with a lot of tech companies, I guess beyond Australia, right, as well,
Mm.
um, what are you seeing? I mean, what are the top things these companies are looking out for in this new year?
Yeah, I think some of this is you read any article around startup fundraising, most of them are in this whole wow, it's tight, right? There's talk about recessions in multiple places around the world. People even backing out of, we're like post COVID and then we have this recession thing. So overall, I think startups are going back to the absolute basics. They're just stripping things back, going only the things that work we need to double down on. I think you and me have both seen this, Kanan. And then like stripping away all the fat. I think that's the biggest overarching thing that's happening across the board.
So with that, very bare bone kind of setup, it almost becomes like a bootstrapping days, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, if your startup is around or the companies you work with probably have about 3 to 4 years already, and they have to do this, how are they really going to grow? I mean, what is really prohibiting them from growing other than the fundings? How are they even managing it? And because what I read is a lot of startups also closing down at a very high rate,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
and that's pretty scary, right? So what do
Yeah.
you see in that? How are they managing it?
Yeah, so I think that there's one thing we speak a lot about in what's called our research around the being framework called authenticity, and it's really about it's not how many people maybe talk about it, but it's about really splitting up the reality about what's going on, for example, in your business, in your venture, and you know what I mean, taking a bit of a scalpel out, going these are the actual things driving our results, these are the things that it there's a few layers on top or it's a bit confused and things. So I think that this internal process is the thing that's really benefiting the ones that are working, whereas some are sort of they're delayed in how they're processing the current environment, right? So they're sort of thinking that things are going to be status quo. Yeah, I think that the more I actually read a post the other day and someone was saying, oh, everyone's talking about the recession, da da da. But my approach is just think positively and I'm not going to change anything. And my view is, well, it's better to be prepared. And if it if it doesn't come, it's just a bonus. But I mean, you need to be prepared. That's what I'm saying to, all of our startups.
Okay, so basically they prepare for the adversity at the same time have the business going, right? Day
Yeah.
to day, acquiring customers and all that. So in that case, is it going to be very status quo kind of thing, or are companies going to have that the phenomenal growth they used to have, or is it going to be very flattish? I mean, at least for your 600 plus companies you're working with, I mean, what do you see? I'm sure it's very widespread, wide spectrum of companies
Oh,
who work with multiple industries, but tech companies especially, is it a growth year or a defend year or just survive year?
I find it interesting when people say that because it's like, are we talking about the average across the board? Or, like in every market, you have some people that outperform. Yeah. And then you have others that, you know what I mean? Just they're in the lower end. So I think that the more question, I mean, this is what we're talking to with our ventures and startups is going, how do you put yourself in the top 1% of your industry? Do you know what I mean? So there's always going to be those. Now, in general, if I just pick one out of the plate, people want to be generating revenue, having extra streams of income in these times, right? So definitely seeing in a lot of industries how your product is essentially a revenue stream for your client. You know what I mean? Not that everyone can do that, but if you can, I think that this turns your product into a high priority, what
Mm.
we call a burning pain. It's something that people will prioritize, not go, oh, we're cutting costs and everywhere, so like let's push you to the bottom of the pile.
A must have versus a good to have product.
Yeah, so I think a
Right?
lot of people talk about this, but I don't think what's practiced a lot is you got to do that ongoingly. Do you know what I mean? You got to continuously scan the environment, going, are we that must-have product? Can
Mm.
we do some shifts in our product or our approach, or maybe even our marketing that positions us in that category?
That's a good thing. So that means a smart technopreneur should be able to position his product such a way that companies will actually sort of really need it rather than just wanting it, right?
And then
Yeah,
yeah, that in with the like the landscape of the economy, for example, or what's happening. See, your unique value proposition is in the backdrop is what's happening around it. Does that make sense? So
yeah.
I think the big mistake a lot of people get into, they go, oh, we've got a unique value proposition, so
Mm,
we're good.
mm,
But that unique value proposition will last for 2 years, five
yeah,
years. You know, the backdrop is changing. It could be
yeah.
direct competitors. It could be the economy. So that's the larger awareness that we see makes a big difference is
Yes,
seeing that.
yes. Because it's a moving target, right? Your USP has to be sustainable, has to be continuously revised. So, in order for me to do that, I probably need to be able to invest in more technology so that my uniquely competitive differentiator is always differentiated from the competitors. And the second thing
Mm,
is I need to make sure I have enough firepower to be able to do lots of marketing to increase the awareness you're talking about across all the
mm,
industries. Let them know that I have these USPs for you which could really benefit your business and address your problems and ease your pain points. And the third thing is you probably need to also put the money in a lot of people on the ground, right? Salespeople. So
mhm.
it's really technology marketing instead. That's where you need to put the money in. But if a young startup or even a very fast growing startup doesn't or is not able to raise the funds, like the beginning of the conversation you talked about, is getting harder, then how are they going to feed these three drivers of the business, the technology, the sales, and the marketing? Then how to do it? Then
I, I really love this because I think, I mean,
I'm putting on the
so
spot, I think.
so many people. No, it's funny because I think we get this all the time that 99.9% of startups come to us going, oh, where's the funding? How can I
Yeah,
access the funding?
yeah.
Now, statistically, firstly, 1% of startups receive angel or VC funding, so 99% don't,
Oh,
right? So that's even there. After that 1% is actually happens, right? The investment happens. 75% don't return even a dollar back to the investor above and beyond the capital
75
invested.
percent. Oh, wow.
75%. So that's
Okay.
the statistic. So
Okay.
what I'm saying is, even though you see a lot of flashy, this person raised, this person raised, a lot of them won't return capital back to the investor. Secondly, the few entrepreneurs who can provide that return, like that's the stuff that you need to do from scratch every day. Yeah. And it's hard. You and me know it's hard. Like every year it's a new game. And so I
Yeah.
know like Jeff Bezos and people like this, they keep going every day. It's like we're starting from scratch. You
Oh, yeah.
literally have to have
Tell me
that.
about it. I know that. I go through that myself. Yeah.
But me
Every
both.
day is different fires coming in different unexpected zones. You got to put it out and you got to make sure your ship keeps on sailing towards that destination, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, sorry. And I was just saying that I think when it comes, we talk a lot about the being of the entrepreneur. And man, this is the hard thing. Like we take huge punches and, kicks in the thing. And so the ability for that person to really be able to, you know what I mean? Be with that and then go, okay, next innings. For us, that's a very key personal quality, or what we call aspects of being that the person would bring that makes a huge difference.
Awesome, awesome. Well, since a quick webinar, we only have one more point that we can talk about is so based on your experience and based on we have another 11 months to go to end the year, and January just went past so fast. So what are your major focus areas to help your clients this year, tech startups and fast growing tech companies? Where is your focus?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that on one side, it's exactly as I said, it's that innovation, which is that very broad word. But if you go down to it, it's being very sensitive to what is the changing landscape and the new burning pains or the opportunities for clients. How are they seeing things differently and reprioritizing? I think that that's the main thing across the board. Yeah, yeah. And then I think outside of that, it's extremely knowing what's already working and what's not, and continuously like I'd even say daily
Hmm.
running that analysis. Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds good. I think that's all I wanted to share with our viewers, and I think there were some few key important points we talked about. Thanks for joining us, Ariya, and I'm sure we'll have you the next time to talk about something else. Take care.
For having me, Canon. See you later.